Hey everybody, welcome back to OneRoomOver Gaming. Today I'm going to be playing Crimson Gray again. I know it's been a while since I played it, but I wanted to go back and try and get a different ending, and I always planned on doing it, and so why not do it right now? So I'm going to start from my load point. We're not going to go through the whole game again, because my last load point was was kind of where I started branching off and making different decisions. So I am still trapped in Lizzie's basement, and it is Wednesday. So yeah, that's where we are, and let's try and get a better ending than the last one I got. Wednesday, Lizzie wanted to watch another movie, but John suggested that might be too many. Instead, they passed the day quietly, working and chatting, and ignoring the fact that he was chained to the table. He was feeling better than he thought he could without Paxtine, so his mind shifted to what he could do to improve his situation. Chatting with Lizzie was pleasant, but it wouldn't resolve their problem. What should he say? Try to leverage the last few friendly days into her letting him go? Just try to make her relax more? Or convince her that he wouldn't leave her? So Lizzie... Let's start a conversation about morality. I think I tried interest last time. Hey, do you mind if I ask you a random hypothetical? Ask anything you want. Say a train is running down a track and it will kill 5 people. You could pull a lever to switch the train to another track where it only hit 1 person. Do you pull it? Who are the people on the tracks? That's a good question. That's not supposed to matter. It's just hypothetical. Random people, no one you know. I don't pull the lever. I would leave. He had a feeling he knew what she was going to say, but... Say I'm on the first track and the train is heading towards me. If the lever would make the train hit 5 other people instead, would you pull it? I'm guessing she's going to say yes. Yes. What if there are 10 people? The number doesn't matter to me, John. I would kill 100 people. 1,000. And then I would go find the person who put you on the track and kill her, or him, and the train conductor, and everyone on the train who didn't help. If my only choice was to switch the train to come hit me, I would do it. I would do anything. Lizzie, I don't want you to kill yourself for me. Oh, you're so sweet, but no, you have to survive. I want us both to be together forever, but if I can give my life to save yours, it would be worth it. You know, you say that now, but when I ran away from you, you sure didn't save my life. And that's not a spoiler. That already happened. How would you answer that question if a teacher asked it? One already did last year. I pretended to be flustered and said I couldn't pull the switch. So you do understand how most people view this. I'm aware of how they think, but I don't understand it. What they think doesn't really matter to me. But if I say the wrong things, people will interfere with my life, so I've had to learn to say the right things. I did that with you too, John, at first, because I was afraid you wouldn't love the real me. But you will, eventually, I'm sure of it. That made things a little uncomfortable for the rest of the day, but John hoped that if he ever did somehow get strapped to train tracks, Lizzie was the one nearby. Well, I mean, but what if there's 100 people? The next morning, he took his pills with a glass of water, as usual. Lizzie waited until he was done and then gave him a warm smile. And she's only got 2 outfits, and she likes to go back and forth between them. I hope it's helping. You seem happier, John. I feel better than I expected. Pretty good, actually. It was actually strange how good he felt, and it was easier not to think about that moment. Instead, he brought up an issue that he had been thinking about for a while. That reminds me, I've been meaning to ask you, you've run out of Yandequil, right? Haven't taken it for days. I destroyed the rest of it the day before our date. You destroyed it? Why? I don't think this is new information to me. It wasn't useful. It helped me understand, but I wasn't myself while taking it. I wish you'd reconsider taking medication. We can't handle everything ourselves. Sometimes we need help. You don't understand. It's not that simple. Then explain it to me. I wasn't myself. It was like someone had imprisoned me and took my place. Imagine if your own medication meant that you could never feel sad again, just constant manic happiness. That does sound horrible. I'm sorry I made you take it. Don't say that. It was useful. Having things be different for a while made it easier to see how everything fits together. But I couldn't take it any longer than that. I wanted to be myself again. Koitek doesn't want to help people, John. They just want to control them. Are you just saying that metaphorically, or do you actually know something about them? No. Abby was an addict because of them. I never cared about her, but I saw what Koitek's drugs did to her. They didn't change who she was. She was always horrible. The drugs just made her identity obvious. Not like you, John. You're still so kind, even though you were taking that drug. But they won't be satisfied with that. Are you seriously saying Koitek is some kind of conspiracy? Conspiracy? No, I don't think so. They just want money, and they're willing to cut corners to make it. I don't care what they do to anyone else, but you needed to stop taking that drug. You need to see clearly. He almost wanted to believe her. Koitek was a huge company, and those weren't exactly known for their ethics. It was plausible they had been testing some dangerous drugs on Lizzie's mother. It had probably been too dangerous for adults, but had magnified impact on a developing child. Did Lizzie see that on some level, or was she just paranoid about the company? Sometimes she seemed so intuitive. And you should stop seeing Miss Smythe. She's trying to steal you away, I'm sure of it. Lizzie, don't be ridiculous. She's 10 years older than me and the school counselor. I can't trust her. You can't. You shouldn't. Don't get those crazy eyes on me. Calm down. No one's going to steal me away. Thank you. Put those away. She stared at him as if she desperately wanted to believe his words. A moment later, she gave an odd little half shrug. I came in to say I need to run some errands today, so I'll have to leave you alone. Okay, John? Fine. Whatever. She left the room, and John knew he had a rare opportunity, but he found himself sitting and thinking. Was it possible that she was right about the Pakistine? He hadn't taken it in several days, and after a few low points, he actually felt much better than usual. The terrible irony of depression medication was that sometimes a drug can make you feel even worse, not better. Maybe the changes he'd attributed to Pakistine were just changes in his life. It's possible. There couldn't be anything to her conspiracy theories, but he could believe that Koitek would push their drug on anyone with depression, even if it had mixed results. Things like that happened all the time. Abruptly, he resolved that if he made it out of the basement, he'd stop taking Paxitine as an experiment. He could stay on his old meds, see if he did better. If he actually showed signs of improvement, even Miss Smythe would be happy to let him take older drugs. Regardless, for now, he needed to take stock of his options and take some kind of action while he had the opportunity and energy for it. He felt like he'd spent too much time thinking to make an escape attempt, but maybe he could accomplish something else. So it's Thursday. I am going to try and make something for Lizzie. Deciding his best bet was to try and encourage Lizzie's good nature. John set to working with kitchen supplies she'd left nearby him. His options without a stove were limited, but he did his best to make her something that looked like a real effort had been put into it. He was no chef, but he thought she would like anything he'd made with his own hands. Strangely, the act of making something for her helped him forget about the fact he was chained in her basement. The situation might be messed up, but perhaps there was a core of something salvageable. When Lizzie saw his gift, she blushed, then took it away hurriedly. John blinked but didn't have time to object. The next time he saw her, though, she was beaming. I made her beam. Is she just not down here yet? It's Friday. On Friday, John woke up, stretched, yawned, scratched at the shackle on his leg, and got up to brush his teeth. It was only while brushing his teeth and staring at the walls of the knives that he realized how normal this bizarre situation had become. 1 week ago, Lizzie had been asking him out on a date. Oh no, I think I did make it to Friday. Maybe this was the day I escaped. Lizzie had been asking him out on a date, and they'd gone out like a normal couple. It felt like a lifetime ago. When he heard the basement door open, he didn't even glance up. He knew it would just be Lizzie again. He rinsed his mouth out and set his toothbrush aside. Good morning. Can you believe it's been a week already? Where does the time go? I was just thinking that, actually. Hasn't it been wonderful? We've been together every single day. Ah, it's bliss. For you. You know, we haven't done anything that we couldn't have done without the kidnapping. But that's the point. She skipped in past him to the wall of knives. Lizzie held her arms behind her back as she examined them eagerly. When we were together at school, part of me was afraid we were both pretending. Even when we weren't alone, I wasn't myself. Lizzie chose one knife from the wall, caressing its edge very slowly before taking it up. She turned to him, eyes unnaturally bright. There's the face I've come to fear. A normal boy couldn't have done all those ordinary things with me after seeing the truth. You're saying I'm not normal? And I wouldn't want you to be. She came closer, knife swaying back and forth as her gaze remained fixated on him. She was close now, close enough that she could have kissed him or stabbed him. I want you to learn that you shouldn't be afraid of me. You know I would never pick up a knife to hurt you, right? I don't know this. It doesn't feel like that's the case. I wanted an answer. Oh, let's just do it. Instead of answering a question that might not have had any good answer, John leaned forward and kissed Lizzie gently. She gave a surprised gasp and leaned into the kiss. She kissed back like she was trying to devour him, and maybe she really was. Would she just come at me with her mouth just like, ah? But before it went on too long, Lizzie pulled back and stared at him shyly. I'm glad you did that, John, but I'm afraid. Afraid of me? Of this? Of what? What are you afraid of? Maybe I couldn't change. Maybe I did everything wrong. And just runs away, right out of the room, slamming the door behind her. Let's just start paraphrasing this. When she returned later in the day, she pretended like the kiss had never happened. John did the same, but he couldn't help feel like something was different. Don't be weird. It's Saturday, there's Sunday, and then we have to go back to school, and I'm never thought I'd say this, but I want to get my butt back to that classroom. On Saturday, Lizzie announced that she wanted to make a huge meal for both of them on the last day. What is that? The last day. Is she going to kill me, or do I get to go home? She asked what he wanted to eat, then headed out for a shopping trip. As soon as he was sure she was actually gone, John got up and took a deep breath. He didn't have much time left before the vacation was over, but what did he want to do? I'm not going to do a fucking thing. Though John considered a lot of options, they all felt futile. He was basically in Lizzie's power, so he might as well accept it. He tried to find a more comfortable position, slumped in his chair, head leaned against the back, so he could stare up at the basement ceiling. All he could hope now was that she would decide to let him go. Maybe there would be something he could do to encourage that, but at the moment he had no energy to think. For now, all he could do was wait. Everything was in its place, including him, slumped down in the chair. He could only hope that he had done enough. He waited in silence while Lizzie went about upstairs, putting away what she had bought. Eventually he heard the door open, and she skipped down the stairs with a smile. Don't poison me. John, how are you? I'm great! I'm going to let you go tomorrow. Like, go home or just let me go into the ether? Really? You aren't worried I'll tell someone? I am! I am! If you told someone, it would hurt me so much, but I can't hold you here forever. Ooh. I want to keep you here forever, but I want you to choose to stay with me even more. That would be the best. I see. You're not happy. After all this, do you really expect my emotions to be simple? It's not black and white. Nothing ever is. Do you hate me? No. No, I really don't. That's good, but I want more than that. I want $1 million! I know, but you're gonna have to wait. You can't rush a relationship by forcing it. I know. Next time, you can choose when to ask me out, okay? I need a little bit more room than that. Please don't break into my house anymore. Also, let's establish some rules. His remaining time in the basement passed easily, almost casually. They didn't speak much about what was coming, and especially not about what had happened. They watched 2 more movies, chatted about simple things, finished up the last vacation homework, and on Sunday, Lizzie appeared in silence and unlocked the chain that kept him bound to the table. He stared at her and wished he could find something to say, but his mouth was too dry to speak. Eventually he left, though he thought he might have seen a glimmer of tears in her eyes, but it might have been his imagination. The entire ride back, he tried to think about his experiences, but couldn't even begin to grasp everything that had happened. When John got home, he found the door undamaged. The entire house didn't look so different, as if it hadn't been abandoned for 9 days. There, as only a single message on the answering machine, his father saying that he was going on a company vacation. He hadn't even noticed that John was gone. None of his friends had called. He had been taken out of the world, and no one had even noticed. The only person who cared was Lizzie, but she wasn't there with him now, and there were still too many emotions to sort through with her. John sat down on the couch and simply felt numb. He fell asleep there, an uncertain amount of time later, he slept and did not dream. Look at my room! So happy! In the morning, John felt surprisingly refreshed. He made sure to take the meds Lizzie had sent with him, since they seemed to have worked well so far. When he went to school, he would have to ask Miss Smythe her opinion, because despite the absurdity of it all, they were still going to have to go to school. Lizzie wasn't waiting for him outside his house, which was probably a good thing, he decided. The walk to school and the crisp air gave him time to focus. Not that he reached any profound conclusions, but by the time he reached school, he at least felt reasonably okay. He didn't spot Lizzie at all, but when he opened his locker, he discovered a folded note in the center. "Good morning, John." Said good morning, John, surrounded by hearts. Despite himself, John smiled a little. When he looked up, he saw Lizzie around a nearby corner, and she smiled back before vanishing. He drifted through several classes. Today he wasn't too different from the other students, since they were all back from vacation and unfocused. None of the teachers tried to make them do very much. After school, he headed to Miss Smythe's office, not entirely sure what he was going to say. After so long away, however, he definitely felt like he could use some counseling. I am going to say all the things. If she asks me, I hope that I can just let it out. Let it go. Ah, John, I hope you had a good vacation. Oh, good. Yeah, it's great. It's okay. You? Spent the entire time working. I'm afraid I actually tried to call you, but it seems you weren't home. Oh, let me tell you a story. Yeah, I was busy? Sorry. Oh, it's fine. I just hope you haven't lost any of our progress. Why don't you lie down and we can get started right away? Where do I begin? He got onto the couch, but things didn't go as smoothly as usual. Miss Smythe was doing her best, but he just couldn't concentrate. It didn't take a genius to know the reason. He needed to decide exactly what he was going to do. If he wanted protection from the police, this would be his best chance to ask for it secretly. Or even if he skipped some details, Miss Smythe might be able to provide help of some kind. Or maybe he shouldn't tell her anything. It had all worked out for the best, hadn't it? Something on your mind, John? Oh my god, there is so much on my mind. And I want so badly to talk with someone about it. It's so big. Oh. How much I hate these options because and every time I pick something they never go quite the way I want them to anyway. Oh, I'm going to tell her the truth. Actually, I'm afraid of Lizzie. I don't know what, but there's something really wrong with her. Okay. I don't know if I would say I'm afraid of her because obviously she doesn't want to hurt me, but I definitely worry. So let's just, like, right here, I'm afraid of Lizzie, so just after the I'm afraid of Lizzie, just pretend you don't see that part. I'll just cover that part up. So she's just I don't know what, because I'm not afraid, but I think she needs help. I can't do this on my own. Afraid, are you concerned she might harm you or someone else? Has she issued an actual threat? She kidnapped me! I'm not trying to dismiss your concerns, John. In fact, I'm very willing to act on them. Well, but don't get yourself hurt either. However, without evidence, it might be better to contact a different authority. Koitek has measures the... Oh, God. John, why? Why would you betray me? And that's why I didn't want to tell the truth, but I was hoping that it couldn't end badly. Great, now I've got Lizzie with a knife in my therapist's office, and apparently I'm the one who betrayed her. Lizzie! Then you lied to me. I thought I could trust you now. No! That's not how trust works. Stop that. Stop what? While Lizzie had been focused on him, Miss Smythe had been quietly removing something from her desk. She hesitated when Lizzie looked at her, but then kept moving. This is your fault. You want to take him away from me. Oh, wow, there's a new face. Haven't seen that one yet. Active screaming, Lizzie. Woohoo. Now, Lizzie, calm down. There's no need to make wild accusations. We can... Oh, God. Lizzie leapt across the room, her knife flashing at Mrs. Smythe's throat. To John's shock, the older woman actually dodged back out of the way of the slash. Yeah, I got a spry therapist! Not only that, but her hand came up from her desk, carrying a syringe that she attempted to plunge straight into Lizzie's chest. Hopefully it's not adrenaline. But Lizzie was faster, bringing her knife down on the other woman's wrist. Miss Smythe gave a cry of pain and dropped the syringe, and then it was too late. Mother Hubbard! Oh, Lizzie's next slash went straight through her throat, carrying a spray of blood with it before the rest began to flow down her neck. Don't! Lizzie turned towards him slowly. Her face was covered in blood, but he was more concerned about the emptiness growing in her eyes. I should have ended it quietly. We could have been happy. Lizzie, what are you doing? I'm sorry, John. There's nothing else I can say to you. She rushed at him just as he had known she would, but he didn't have the energy to dodge. Didn't matter, she was going to get him in the end anyway. It hurt, but not as much as he had been expecting. He stared at the blood flowing down his body with no real emotion. Weeping, Lizzie leaned forward to kiss him. Her lips were strangely warm. No, it was just that his body was growing warm as blood rushed out of it. The warmth increased, dissolving what remained of his thoughts. And it was very cold, but not for long. And for the second time, there's my dead ass on the ground. Yay! Again, it happens so quick. And I didn't even get any achievements for that. I didn't even get the you made it out alive achievement or anything. Oh my god. There is no way. Is there a way for this to end happily? I don't want to be the only one who bears this burden. It's not normal. I think. I don't know. Maybe there's people all over the world that have been kidnapped for 9 days by someone who had a crush on them and let go, and they just decide to bottle that up. I don't know. In my human experience, I've never come across it, but, you know, who am I? Oh, okay. Well, I guess I should have told the truth. It just seems like I'm gonna, if I want this to end happily in any way at all, I'm just gonna have to eat it. I'm gonna have to eat the whole thing. Pretend everything's fine and just eat it on my own. I get that this game is like kind of a warped analogy for life. It's just like sometimes things happen and you have to sit on the secrets. Things happen that you don't know how to deal with, and you just basically keep it to yourself. And not everyone gets a happy life, and not everybody gets, you know, awesome, cool stuff. And depression never really goes away, and nothing's ever really okay. But it would be nice if this game would just let me have, like, some kind of not dead ending. But there you go. There's the second ending I've gotten from Crimson Gray. I still ended up dead for trying to share my feelings. So, good job for me. Anyway, I'm out of time for right now, and I hope you guys enjoyed that ending. I'll probably try and get another one. I want a happy ending, so I'll play it again and see if I can get a happy ending. I don't know how soon I'm going to play it, though. So thank you guys for coming back to One Room Over Gaming, and until next time, you guys always know where you can find me. Check out some of my other Let's Plays. Some of them are actually kind of happy and fun, like West of Loathing. That's a hoot. So until next time, you guys can find me One Room Over, and I will see you all very soon. Alright, thank you. Bye.